when it comes down to it, Paulo Banchero is still very young, and he is somebody who's going to score 20 points a game, but he is not the closer that we see from guys like Donovan Mitchell or even Darius Garland, who was good when Donovan Mitchell was out. So it just feels like the Cavs do everything that the Magic do, but better. So I think it's going to be the Cavs for me. I would take a long, hard look at the total. Jinx, are you sold that Cleveland is going to win this series?
Yeah, I just feel like the Magic are outclassed. I mean, good for them. They're here. They made it. And again, very good against the number, but I just keep coming back to the idea that Cleveland is the all-around better team, and the Magic aren't going to be able to solve them. The Cavaliers are really undervalued right now. That's the way I feel about it. I feel like we could see a Cavaliers sweep here. I see a lot of people on Orlando, and the numbers are telling you this is a coin flip game. Could go either way. I get the Magic have been good at home. A lot of this is based on the eye test. I like the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. Let's go to the next one up, and we've got the Sixers trying to fight their way back out of an 0-2 deficit against the Knicks tonight. This game in Philly, where the Sixers are laying 4.5 points, a total of 202.5. Joel Embiid has already been quoted saying, we're going to come back and win this series. They've had a heartbreaking loss already in this series where they have blamed just about everybody, the referees, which, some of those calls may have gone the other direction. But when you blow that kind of lead with like 30 seconds left to play, some of it goes on you as well. So I think the question here is, how do the Sixers respond after that kind of heartbreak? And after that kind of finish, do you think the Sixers still have some fight left in them?
Yeah, I do. I like the Sixers a lot tonight. And I'm trying to decide if I listen, when it comes to my bets tonight, like all wheels off. Who cares? I'm 2-7 this week. I have nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose, man. So I'm going to be on the Sixers. I think I might play it. Sixers minus 4.5. I think it's a palatable price. But the Sixers have been in each game, and you mentioned them giving away that game against the Knicks. Like, they had this. They had this game. They're frustrated. Joel Embiid was claiming that the officials aren't getting the calls right. He's just upset. Same thing with LeBron, right? LeBron was doing the same thing against the Nuggets, complaining about the officiating. So I think that's a different series based on the Nuggets' history against the Lakers. We'll get into that. But ultimately, I think the Sixers come back to Philly tonight, and they dominate this game. And they've done a great job of limiting Jalen Brunson. Jalen has gotten his points, but he's been inefficient from the field. So if the Sixers can limit their mistakes while continuing to limit Jalen Brunson, they should cover this number. This is a good Sixers team. And also, I'm surprised that Joel Embiid looks as effective as he has. He's so tricky, Chelsea, as you know. Like, day in, day out, I feel like the needle on his health moves. So early in the series, he tweaked that knee, didn't look great, and now he looks like he's back at full strength. He's not at full strength, but he looks like he can be as effective as he normally is when he's close to 100%. So based on what I saw out of him and the fact the Sixers can correct those errors that they've made, particularly in Game 2, I'm going with Philly here.
What a disaster of a season for the Astros. It has been thus far, sitting in last place in the AL West, but yet they stand as favorites tonight on the road at the Chicago Cubs. We're looking at Houston as minus 120 favorites, or minus 125, behind Justin Verlander. And it's Javier Assad who is going for the Cubs. We don't have a total just yet because this game's in Chicago, usually waiting on the weather. But, Jenks, I think the question mark is, do you really want to play the Astros as favorites?
No, I do not. I think I'm going to go back to the under here is what I'm thinking. And
it's 8. I see it now.
Yeah, it's up at 8. So this was the same handicap that I gave yesterday, and I need to check on the wind at Wrigley Field, but yesterday it was a big factor, and this was a weather play yesterday because the wind was blowing in. It's been cold in Chicago, and I think this is an afternoon game, so we're going to see very similar conditions to what we saw yesterday, right? Going to be around 43, wind gusts of 24 miles an hour, and you're saying, Jinx, where did you get this incredible information? Well, obviously from my home Doppler. I don't go online. I use the Doppler at home, and I say, cold front at Wrigley today. Justin Verlander, I don't need to tell you about Justin Verlander. Javier Assad has been great this year. And the Astros suck right now, let's be honest. One of the best under teams in the league, 4th best to the under. You take two solid, if not great starting pitchers, particularly with Verlander on the mound, and the weather, and the fact that the Astros aren't hitting right now. Let's go under 8.
Yeah, that or first 5 under.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the two looks that I would do. I think if I was betting on this game, Jenks, have you been doing first 5 bets? There's a couple of first 5 unders that I like tonight. I think this would be one of them. Not sure if I'm going to play it. Because here's the thing about the Astros that is lurking underneath the surface. If you look at all of the metrics that are usually predictive, like WRC plus is usually one of the best ones to measure a mark of an offense. Houston's still doing well. They have the 4th best mark in all of baseball. So eventually maybe the runs will start to be there. But until we can trust them, like, I think the under's a good look, and I don't think that you should be playing the Astros as favorites because this year you would be down a ton of money.
They go from a 3-win team to a 7-win team with what we all would be able to call mediocre quarterback play. So if Caleb Williams can come in and be that or better, then the Bears should be in a better situation, seeing as though they improved their team in the offseason with the addition of Gerald Everett, tight end from the Chargers, with Keenan Allen. So, you're walking into a situation where the Bears, even without Caleb Williams, are a better team than they were last year. And then you add the 9th pick, and Chelsea, you just touched on it. The Houston Texans did the same thing last year with their 2 top picks in the top 10. The Bears are looking to do the same. If they can be lucky enough to have Rome Odunze drop all the way to 9, I think the Bears will be extremely happy at that, because what a lot of people aren't talking about is, yes, Keenan Allen is there for one more year, but DJ Moore is there for one more year after that. So the Bears still have to adjust the wide receiver position at some point, and it would be great if Rome Odunze could do that in the present.
Okay, I wanted to ask Gabe about this franchise as a whole, because it feels like part of the excitement there in Chicago is that for the first time in a long time that everything is in place for the Bears to actually become a good football team again for the long term, because you've got the brass in place, you've got Caleb Williams in place, and we've seen the renderings for the new stadium. If you take a step back, is part of it the fact that, hey, it looks like the foundation is being set again?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because Ryan Poles really set the tone from the very beginning, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as he got to Chicago, he cleans house. He's like, I don't want Roquan Smith. I don't need any of these guys here. I'm going to start from scratch. And then he goes into the drafts, and he gets quality players, Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, guys that can actually contribute to this team, including Darnell Wright on the offensive line. And so I think, Eberflus plays into that as well, right? It's very difficult to get grown men that are making millions of dollars to come out and play at a high level, even when you're only have 3 wins on the season. He did that his first year. Last year, even though they were outside of the playoffs, he had those men coming to play week in and week out. So I think the culture begins with Ryan Poles stating that, hey, we aren't the Bears of the old. We are a new regime. Starts with Coach Eberflus implementing the culture there. And then to the players, the guys that are there, they actually want to win. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think the Bears are primed for a new Kyle Long, former Chicago Bear, said it best, Howie Long's son. He said, hey, Bears fans need to reinvent themselves. They're used to being the lovable losers. They're used to being the fan base that can always lean on something. Not anymore. It's different now. The Bears are headed in a true direction that is one that should include winning, and hopefully Caleb Williams can bring that to the franchise.